Following report is being broadcast tonight in a number of countries at a critical time in the unique recent history of this one small country, Cambodia. Year Zero told of the suffering of the people of Cambodia under Pol Pot and his murderous Khmer Rouge. More than 1 million people, perhaps many more, were killed or starved to death between 1975 and 1979. No society this century has been as willfully devastated as Cambodia. Not even Hitler's attempts to exterminate the Jews matched the scale of Pol Pot's crimes against his own people. And it was after that Holocaust that the world community formed the United Nations so that it would never happen again. But it did happen again, and for those of you who may have forgotten, this is what happened. The genocide did not begin with Pol Pot. It began in 1969 when President Nixon launched a secret war against neutral Cambodia, upon which American bombers dropped the equivalent of 5 Hiroshimas. Out of the inferno came Pol Pot and his fanatical Khmer Rouge, who exploited the devastation. Together, the American bombing and Pol Pot's bloody revolution caused 1 million dead and wounded. And that was just the beginning. At dawn on April the 17th, 1975, all of Cambodia fell to the Khmer Rouge, who immediately ordered the evacuation of the capital, Phnom Penh. The sick and wounded were dragged from their hospital beds. Dying children were carried in plastic bags. The old and crippled were dumped beside the road. The rest were marched at gunpoint into the countryside, from which most never returned. The ideology of the Khmer Rouge was based on the Cultural Revolution unleashed by Mao Zedong in China in the 1960s, whose aim, like that of Pol Pot, was a return to the political purity of a docile peasantry. In other words, slavery. To this, the Khmer Rouge added a medieval bloodletting and created Auschwitz in Asia. Here at Tul Sleng extermination camp in Phnom Penh, up to 18,000 people were tortured and murdered by a Gestapo called S-21. Like the Nazis, the Khmer Rouge photographed their victims before and after they starved them, hanged them, strangled them, and cut their throats.
My wife, my son, my daughter, anything will be gone.
They were killed?
Yeah, killed. Gone. We have only my child, only one.
How many children were killed?
5.